Hey, Prez, how are you?
Hey, how you doing, Miss Lisa?
Oh boy, I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I'm running a little late.
It's
Another
all good.
problem. I'm the problem child again, just like last week. Um, but let's get started. We have a really good topic this week. Prez, can you tell us
Really?
about? Yeah, I was like, oh, I think this might be. Oh, this is up at the top. This is what week are we on? Week 28,
This is
27?
episode 28, I believe.
Out of 28 episodes, I really like this topic. It's gonna have to be probably gonna be a mm, top five for me.
All right, all right. Actually came to me in a dream because I've been like struggling lately. Like, I don't know what I want to say. I don't know, and it'll come to me at the last minute. So I woke up like literally yesterday morning was like, oh, and I just picked up my notepad and just started writing. I
Okay.
don't know. So, well, today I would like to talk about how to lose money in the stock market. We always talk about how to how to make money. Let's talk about ways that you can lose your money.
So I think this just like with your question last week of you know what made us create our channel. I think this
Hmm.
ties in with that of just being a way of sharing our mistakes and just showing the people that um, it's okay to talk about the good and the bad. I think that's another thing.
Yeah.
And we have made mistakes, and I think it's great that we're willing to share that so that the next person may not have to. So, well, before we get into our first points, can you give just greet everyone and give this the regular station break, the first station break of the day?
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for tuning in today, especially on this holiday weekend. Be sure to hit the like button on your way in. And if you're not currently subscribed to both of our channels, consider subscribing to us both. We're here every Sunday at 3 p.m. Me, myself, I'm live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 a.m. If you would like to check me out as far as market watch and potentially looking for live trades, I don't mind you tuning in there. Um, yeah, sit back and enjoy the show.
Okay, and for those of you watching on my side, I just put in Prez's link, so make sure to subscribe to his channel. So, um, you know whose birthday it is today? I want to give her a shout out. I'm sure she's probably out having a good time. It's Dee Bankroll. So
Happy birthday, D.
happy birthday, Dee. I doubt you're here. I'm sure you're out with your family or your little nephew or whoever. But I hope you see this. Happy
That is
birthday.
awesome.
Um, she is a great supporter and fellow YouTuber.
Hmm.
So let's get started with number one. I think we should maybe go back and forth with it. So um
We can
you
start wherever you like.
well, you're the one who makes me drive every Sunday,
We
so
can start wherever you like. I do not mind.
you don't. Okay.
Nope, I don't mind.
You gonna drive next Sunday, Press?
Sure, I can drive next Sunday.
No, it's okay. I like doing it. All right. So first up is short-term way of thinking. So you share first on this one, Press.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm guilty of it myself. When I first came into this space, I was had a short-term mindset because of my financial situation at the time when I first started learning about the market. You understand what I'm saying? I wasn't well off or had this great career, anything like that. I was just stepping into a potential career at the time when I was learning about the market. So I was looking for instant gratification. I'm not going to lie, but that's a way to lose money because you're putting your money into things like speculation. Excuse me one second, let me clear my throat.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking into things like that it can potentially flip your money overnight, and you're putting your money into high risk assets and things of that nature that you don't even understand for that matter. So yeah, that's a quick way to lose your money in this space. Just having a short term way of thinking, a short term mindset, like kind of like hitting the lottery or going to the casino and hitting it big in the casino. That's the type of mindset that you should not have coming into this space.
Yeah. So when I read that point, first thing that crossed my mind is like when I say, if someone overhears me say like a particular investment went up by a certain percentage, or my daughter's account has grown by $1,000 so far, something like that,
Hmm.
and I see they're like, oh, that looks like, oh, they're interested suddenly, and they're like, how long did that take? I can tell that what I'm going to share is probably not going to be in line with where their mindset is, because they're like, how fast can you flip the money? Like that, they use terms like that. And I'm just like, okay, I can tell that they may not want to hear about long-term investing and slow growth, and the dividends getting reinvested and the positions building up little by little, and even thinking about, when people ask, what do you mean by long term? When it's retirement accounts, I mean, from whatever age you are currently until when you are 67, 65, 70, whatever your retirement age is going to be. So potentially, I could be saying 30 years or 40 years, or from wherever you're currently at. So I think that successful investing requires the long-term perspective, and many people don't have it, and many people have not invested to the point where they're seeing the results of what even short term can achieve for them. So all right, so anything else on that point?
Well, yeah, actually, yeah. Um, I was writing something down. I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. But
Trudy.
you really shouldn't have that short term mindset. You really have to come into this space thinking it's the younger you taking care of the older you. And that's a mistake that I see a lot of people make. And it could be partially due to a lot of the clickbaity type of titles that goes back into one of our previous type topics. Is like what I did, I started typing in the search bar how to get rich quick and things of that nature. Just having the wrong type of mindset. When in actuality, what I've learned throughout the years that it's the long game that's going to beat the short game all day long.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I'm guessing you were taking notes on what Eddie put in the chat there.
Yes.
Okay, so that's all good. It's taken, it's noted. So let's move on to point number two: chasing speculation without a plan. So you can start off on this one too.
Yes. Like I'm gonna give you an example. At one point in time, I was overly allocated into Lucid, and at the time, Lucid was almost $30 per share. If you look at the share price of Lucid right now, it's basically a penny stock. So you understand what I'm saying? So I was thinking, okay, well, let's try to find the next Tesla. Not knowing what I was doing, not knowing what I was looking into, I was basically listening to hype that I was seeing on social media. Like this could be the next Tesla. When in actuality, if you look at the price of the car, like can't nobody even afford that car unless you well off. So it's more of a luxury electric vehicle model versus something that everybody should be able to afford. So that was another mistake that ended up losing me money, make it costing me to lose money because I ended up selling this investment at a loss due to the sudden drop in the share price.
Okay, okay. So yeah, definitely chasing speculation. So those hot stocks, those trends, you have to think things through and have a plan. If you're hearing about it from people that don't even talk about stocks, and you're hearing about it on the news, then it may not be the time to get in. You have to have a plan. You have to have you have to know different concepts that we are also going to get into in this discussion, because I've made some of the same, just like how Prez was describing investing back in Lucid, went back when it was about $30. It's currently $4.02. So if we had a plan, if he had a plan, just like if I had a plan with my investing into ChargePoint, I would have known what is my tolerance, what percentage or dollar amount am I willing to let this investment go down by before I'm going to cut my losses. And I did not invest into my example, ChargePoint, Prez's example, Lucid. We didn't have a full plan of when are we getting in, when are we getting out, you know, is this worth averaging down and continuing to invest into? Is this truly an investment? So you can get caught up in the hype, and it may be a tech stock. Both of our examples right now are, you know, automotive or kind of crossing into tech, but without a plan, you're basically gambling. You're not making an investment. There are things that you can easily add into your portfolio as an investment, and you can kind of not have to watch it constantly. But there are others that you have to make sure that it has graduated to that level of truly being an investment that you don't have to watch, and that you don't have to have a stop loss on. We're going to get further into that point, but make sure that you have a clear goal and strategy, and don't just add something into your portfolio, not be mindful of it, not be watching the news, not be keeping up with things, and then think when you look back months down the road or a year down the road that it's going to have improved, because it could be a drastic drop, just like Lucid, $30 down to $4. We none of us want anything that's going that direction in our portfolio. If you do, if you are so inclined to hold on to an investment like that, you can, when it drops, you can sell before it goes down to $4. You can sell long before it drops that low, buy back in if you still feel that this has potential, things are going to turn around, there's some news catalysts or different things going on with the company. But you don't have to lose all of that money and have the fear and sit here waiting to see, is it ever going to go up again? So that's a way, that's what I'm trying to convey to you about having a plan, not just holding. And so, anything else before we move on to the next point?
You got to ask yourself, how would you feel if this share price was cut in half in one day from the price you bought it? How would you feel? Would you buy more? Would you be worried? Is it going to zero? Before you even buy it, ask yourself that question.
Okay. Thanks for everybody who has come in since we started the show. Blessed Life, Stock Talk David, Tim. Tim is saying that something in his portfolio that does not need his stop loss is big lots. So yeah, I definitely have a few that I don't worry about, like Amazon, you know?
Hmm.
All right, so let's move on to point number 3. And we kind of touched on this one already a little bit, and that's trusting the words of others without doing your own research. So when I had an MMA fighter on in one of my interviews a couple months back. His name is Will Smith. And in our discussion, he said he would be like talking to someone at the gym, and they would mention something, and he would just throw some money in it. And it was like just hearing about it from someone, not doing your own research. You just want it's investing. It's not the lottery. It's not a gamble that we just have to throw our money in here without having there's research. There are ways to do our own research. We don't just have to jump in. So just have that in mind, and always verify the information for yourself. Just because someone is telling you, oh, this is real good investment, it's going to do this, that, and the other, lay your eyes on the information for yourself. Check out the PE ratio. Check out the direction of the company. Check out, whatever analytics, details, price targets, analyst ratings, especially if the company is somewhat established, there should be a good amount of information for you to reflect upon and look back on and see what is the forward trajectory of this company. So, why don't you share a little bit about this point? Point number 3, trusting others and doing your own research, Press.
I'm a firm believer in doing your own research, question everything. I say that almost in everything that every live stream that I've ever done. I always tell people to, I'm the type of person that I'm going to question everything. Even me, if I tell you something, this is how I feel about a company, I advise you to question what I'm saying and see it for yourself versus you taking someone else's word for it. I say that all day long. And Lisa, you pretty much summed up everything else that I was gonna say as far as doing your own research. Take the time to learn how to do your own research. People always say it's too hard. It's not hard. You're discrediting yourself when you say it's too hard for you to learn something. It's not hard.
Okay. Thanks for checking in, Rel. Have a good holiday weekend, everyone. Once you get off the live, if you can stay for a while longer, we do have a hard stop today, but thanks for tuning in. So, yes, can you share a few points, a few basic points that you go to as far as initial research into a company?
The first question I want to know, is this company profitable? So I do whatever I need to do to find out if this company is profitable. That's the easiest way that I can tell somebody to start to learn how to do their own research and a potential investment. How is this company making money? How much of this money are they keeping? These are questions, and it's all different types of tools that you can use on a lot of these different platforms where it'll explain all of these things to you. Like for example, price to earnings ratio, and then you want to know, what do the analysts think about this company, even though you don't want to take their word for it either, but you want to know if Wall Street likes this company or if they believe in this company or not. Then you want to see who actually owns this company. And those are the simple things that you can use to evaluate a company just at a glance.
Okay, okay. I definitely have had people tell me they don't even know what an ETF is. But thankfully, I've heard stories of people that just invested into Apple and Amazon and Nvidia and it worked out for them. But not everything that you hear about is going to go that way. So,
Hmm.
um, Nora's sad that the stock market is closed tomorrow. Tomorrow, it's a full day off
She's
from
not
our
the only
team.
one, but
I
I'm
know.
welcoming it. I'm a rest. I'm a kick back and be lazy.
No, you're going to be over there engrossed in some crypto or something.
Nope.
So
Hmm.
I just sees it. But I know we're not happy. So on to point number 4, investing into companies or crypto projects that you don't understand. So I'm going to
Yeah.
let you get started on this one, Prez, because I'm kind of half and half on my thought process with this.
It's more so into crypto because crypto doesn't have an earnings report or things like that. You don't know how this project is being funded. You really don't know. You can only go off of what you're reading on either Twitter or this actual crypto project's website. And a lot of these projects, they very rarely update their websites. This is something that I want people to be aware of. Like, you can be reading something that's years old and you thinking that it's new. It's not really. You understand what I'm saying? Or is this a basic generic looking website that you're going to, and you putting your money into this and you really don't know. You think you know, but you have no idea. And I always say, if you look at the chart on a lot of these different crypto projects, very few have put in new all-time highs since the previous bear cycle. So that's when you ask yourself, like, do you really want to park your money here for the long term, or do you really believe in this project, or do you really know what this project use case is, or the problem that is saying that it's trying to solve? Is mainly that particular point 4 is pretty much more so geared to crypto projects versus companies, because companies are required by law to report earnings and things of that nature. So you already have the inside scoop on how well this company is doing versus how well this crypto project is doing. You can only rely on Twitter and different websites for that.
Um, Yeah, I guess I do agree with what you're saying there because I my stocks, my ETFs definitely understand what's going on there. When it
Hmm.
comes to Doge and Hut 8 and Riot and Mara, I have I haven't invested into those. I've traded those. And so I guess the distinction is enough for me. But I don't have an understanding, but I do have a willingness to trade them if I feel that I can get into a profitable trade, which I have. Not with Hut 8, but with everything else that I mentioned. Hut 8 did not work out for me earlier this year. But yes, I do overall think with your investments, which my crypto investments are pretty much Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then my all of my other investments, yes, I have an understanding of what it is, what that company is all about, and I think that is a great point. Um, so now on to point number 5, confusing the difference between trading and investing. And these points are kind of all overlapping as I think we've touched on this already. But
Hmm.
Prez is smiling. Are you smiling at something in the chat or just
No, no,
this
I'm
is
just
topic? All right,
how
you
it's
can
all
start
just
it.
intertwined together. Like it's, I'm
Mhm.
just like, yeah, I like it.
All right, so who's going first this time around?
Confusing trading with investing. That's something that I notice a lot of people get confused, especially people that are not even in this space yet. They think that if I give you $1,000, well, if I was to invest $1,000, when will it be $2,000? That goes into having the short term mindset, the short term way of thinking. It's like it's a marathon at the end of the day. It's not a sprint. That goes back into it's the younger you taking care of the older you, and you're not gonna get rich overnight. You're just not. It's possible, but it's very highly unlikely. It's basically like you have a better chance at going to a casino and hitting big at a casino than getting rich overnight in the stock market because it goes ups. You have just ups and downs, and you have your volatility. You have market crashes and things of that nature, big sell-offs, and you just don't know. At the end of the day, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So with that being said, you cannot confuse trading with investing, and that even goes into speculation. That's a trade. That's not an investment. I wouldn't recommend you long-term invest into something based off of I think this is going to the moon next year, or I think this is going to the moon in 2 years, or next month, or something like that.
Mhm.
That's when as fast as you see it go up, it can come down twice as fast, and you could potentially lose money that way because you didn't have a plan. You had the short term way of thinking, and you confused a trade with an investment.
Yes, yes. So Brown is sharing that they are guilty of this confusion, and I am too. That's what I was trying to say with me adding something into my portfolio without a plan. Certain things they should have been a trade, or they should have definitely been they should have been kept basically at trade status because they had not proven themselves to be added into my growth portfolio as a permanent long-term investment. So trading, and I'm seeing it. This is another thing we touched on last week with one of the when you asked me why, what are the reasons why I started my channel, and one of them is that I want to share that one of the points that I've incorporated into my channel, which is not stock market related, even though my name is Lisa Chase Stocks, is about saving and investing. Because without the savings, what happens is, and I've heard this from some of my subscribers, is that something happened and they have to sell their stock, and that's what I'm trying to, help them to avoid. And hopefully, by sharing my story, they can understand the importance of having savings so that you're not having to look at your investment so quickly. Now, there I'm talking about this because really when I hear things like this, and I've been trying to talk to my daughter about this too, because I'm already getting a little nervous as she's getting older, how she's going to manage her portfolio when the time comes for her to do it on her own, is that if you keep on having to sell your investments before the planned time, if you don't have a plan on, of it, then in 20 years or 30 years, what are you going to have to show for it? If every time you invested into this and went up a little, you sold it, then you use the money for something else. And that cycle just keeps repeating. Then what are you going to have? That's not investing, that's trading. And I think we need to do a balance of both. And that's what both of us seem to be sharing on our channel. We're okay with Prez during his morning live streams. He does live trading, but he also incorporates a lot of doing the long-term investing paired with trading. And that's the same thing that I am doing for myself right now. I was He was more into what percentage of investor versus trader would you categorize yourself as?
I would say 50-50 now, simply
Okay.
because I use a lot of my profit from trading to fund my long-term investing because of my current financial situation. So I do what I got to do to stay consistently invest for the long term. So I could say I made this amount of money today, but you best believe I invested a lot of it, a good portion of it, because that's the whole plan of me trading from the get go. It's not just to become rich overnight. No, I'm not trading to become rich overnight. I'm trading to speed up the time that it's going to take for me to get to the end goal, and that's to live off of dividends. So it's the whatever I got to do to speed up that process, do a side hustle, trade, things of that nature, start a YouTube channel and things of that nature. Let Alphabet Corporation pay me on top of me, reaping the benefits of being a shareholder. So I
Yes.
think that's a smart
All
move.
the small
So
things.
I incorporate it all. I keep it all equally balanced. But if I'm not going to go out here looking for a trade, I don't. It doesn't have to take place. If it doesn't take place, I'm not going to be hurt about it, because that's another way that you end up losing money trying to rush the process instead of trusting the process.
Yes, yes. I don't know what point we made, what one of us made, but Nora said, great point. Thank you, Nora.
Mhm.
um, and Joe is saying that she personally only invests currently still. And, there is
That's
absolutely,
okay.
that's okay. I just want to say that is okay. And you don't have to get into trading. You don't ever have to get to that stage of trading. You can just stick with investing for retirement. But I wanted to incorporate more things, and I kind of do a little bit of it all. And I share that, but I'm telling you, I don't know, for decades, all I was doing was investing into my 401k, and that was it. And the story. It's only been in, more recent years that I said, okay, listen, my daughter needs to have a UTMA account. She needs to, now that she's a teen, she has a Fidelity Youth account. I want to create additional portfolios that I can tap into without penalty for early retirement. It's just been an evolution for me, and what I have been creating. Um, Especially after we went through all of that stuff with COVID and, being laid off from corporate America multiple times. I changed into a different Lisa in the last few years. So we're getting a question about, do y'all get a video up on how to trade?
Actually, no, simply because I have a lot of people that aren't even in the market yet that I'm trying to reach. And I would like for them to be investors first and foremost. And trading, that's just a treat. That's not going to go anywhere. I don't want people to come into my audience with that short-term mindset. You understand what I'm saying? So
Yes,
I'm
yes.
trying to, although I do trade live on camera, in a lot of my live streams in the morning, I also try to encourage people to be an investor first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely balance of both, or just all investing. And I always say, you don't have to wait and think I have to build up a large sum of money before I can, explore getting the high yield savings account or investing.
Hmm.
There are many accounts for savings and investing, two different things here. There are many accounts for savings that don't have any high limits. There are accounts that you can open. For example, for retirement, I use Fidelity. I know that some of these other brokerages may have limits, but Fidelity seems to have a lot of flexibility with things like that. That you don't have to have, say, $2,500 or different limits in order to get started in investing into an IRA and stuff like that. So, and they offer fractional shares, just like many of the platforms that we use for our taxable accounts. I know Pres and I, if you're ready to open up an account, you can check out our links. We both use Webull and Moomoo and Public on a regular basis. And Webull and Public both have fractional shares for pretty much all the investment types. Moomoo is a little bit limited still, but they have some, like for all the Mag 7 and a lot of different investments. They more recently this year started to have fractional shares available for them. So, all right, so now on to point 6, something else that we've already, I knew was coming up in the list, but point number 6 is trading without a stop loss. And
Yes.
Fred, you want to talk a little bit about, for if anyone is watching and doesn't even know what those words mean, what is it?
So basically, a stop loss is a special type of order that you can set as soon as you hit the sell button. You'll see when you look on your platform, you'll see buy and then you'll see sell, or you'll see something like trade or something of that nature. But it's a special order type that you set out. So before you even get in the trade, you can already predetermine how much you're willing to lose. So say, for example, you get into a trade with $100. You're only willing to lose $10. So as soon as you hit the buy button and your order is filled for $100, you immediately go behind yourself and hit the sell order, and you specifically say stop loss or stop market, or whatever. The It varies on whatever platform that you're using. And if it drops down to that price, it automatically sells at a minimal loss. You already exited at the price you was willing to lose. Versus you holding on to something you bought it at $100 and now it's worth 60 and you don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, So with Prez's example of talking about Lucid, if we look back to Lucid back in 2021, it was $55 in November of 2021. It comes down to $41 in January of 2022. Let's go forward now. Now we're at January of 2023 and it's at $13. Now it's down to $4. So if you purchased it at $55 thinking, oh, it's on its way up, then you could have made a plan somewhere in here when it's coming down to $38 from $55. You could have made a plan and said, okay, listen, this is going down, let me make a plan here. If it comes down to a certain point, sell my shares automatically, sell a portion of my shares automatically, make a plan as to what you're going to do. And then if it keeps on like this particular investment did, going down and down and down more and more, you're probably not going to be buying back into it because you're not seeing the potential of it. Sometimes it goes down and it comes back up. But
Can you go back to that chart real quick?
sure, sure.
Yeah.
This
Go
is a
to right
5 year. This
before
is a 5 year chart on Lucid.
I bought Lucid, and I can laugh at it now because I feel like a dum dum, but I learned from it. I bought Lucid. Go back before it hit 50. Go back before, come up a little
Okay.
bit, about halfway. I say about $30. I bought it
Okay.
around that time.
So that's late 2021.
It
It
was
was
about
on its
$32.
way up. That's $24 in
I
October.
literally watched it go up to 40, 50 something bucks. And guess where I sold it at?
I don't know.
$16.
20, $16.
Right about there. Yep.
Okay. And so
That's
this
what
is,
happens when you get into you confuse a trade with an investment, because it could have easily been a trade and I would have made a nice amount of money off of it. A $20 increase. I bought it at 32 and it went all the way up to 50 something. but I didn't sell it till it went all the way down to $16. Like that's hustling backwards.
Yeah. And that
Didn't
was
have a
less.
plan. Was looking for the next Tesla. You understand what I'm saying? Didn't know what I was doing, not knowing that this company wasn't profitable. I'm going off of news headlines. Yeah, the Saudis just bought billions of dollars worth of Lucid, and this particular large hedge fund bought a lot of this. It's not cool. It's not cool. I don't want to see other people go through that.
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't want to see other people go through that because it hurts. It hurts.
Yes. So what we're trying to stress again is make a plan, know if you're adding in there. If if you are not willing to ride the wave, if you do not think that this is a long-term investment that deserves to be in that category, you have the option of using a stop loss in order to mitigate your risk, mitigate your losses. So know that that is available to you. And don't hang on. In my opinion, I would not hang on and let it go all the way down and then have to sit here and stress and wait to see, is it going to go back up? I would rather figure out what is my max tolerance here. What is the max that I am willing to lose? And then sell then and buy back in. Now, as far as tax implications and all of that, you're selling it at a loss, you're going to buy, you have to figure out that for yourself. But if it was me, I would rather sell at a slight loss. And then if I so choose, I'm so inclined that I have to have this investment in my portfolio, buy back in, and then again, be mindful of the performance and make a new plan once it's dropped, because I am in this to make money. Make money, make money. That is my goal. So
I
you
could
can
have
end up,
easily bought it at 32, watch it go to 50, set a stop loss at 42, and would have made profit. I
yes,
wouldn't have got out at the top, but I would have got out in profit. Easy. Instead of letting it fall and bleed out like a falling knife and selling it for a significant loss, almost 50% loss. You understand what I'm saying? And then you kicking yourself in the foot later.
yes. So definitely a simple way in order to just save yourself the grief, protect yourself from any big losses. When I hear people say, like, even, and this is something you can also incorporate if you're doing options trading, not just not just on your investments that you're a little bit wary about. So especially when it comes to options trading, I do not understand why people have big losses. I am that is a place where I'm putting my stop loss on the fastest. Um, yes, Laura's saying
Yes.
don't get greedy when it comes to the options. Yeah,
Hmm.
you have to make a plan from the beginning, depending on how many contracts you have, whether it's a percentage, dollar amount, and just be willing to cut your losses, because just letting it go down with the hopes that it's going to come back up, we can't live, we can't be over here hoping and praying and
Hmm.
mm-mm. All right, so on to point number 7. We have 8 points today that we're getting through. We're on number 7, and that is lack of patience when investing. And then paired with that, basically that leads to panic selling during market pullbacks.
Hmm.
So, is there anything in your portfolio that you have a personal story to share on something like this happening?
Where it pulled back and I panic sold.
Hmm.
We can go back to Lucid, Charge Point, pick. We can take your pick. AMC.
Well, those are not panic selling, because they've gone down and have not come back up. So you
Right.
basically cut your losses there. But is there a quality investment that came down? Say, for example, Tesla. Tesla is always, did a quality investment ever come down and you sell it? and it's something that just needed time. Like I often talk about my Target and Disney. Those
Netflix.
those Netflix. Okay.
Netflix. It was back when they this was before they when they first announced that they was cracking down on the password sharing and things of that nature. This was the previous bad cycle. I think Netflix and Meta was the first two to fall, significantly hard. And I'm like, oh no, Netflix about to go out of business, and panic sold a good investment. And if you look at the price of it now, and I had a nice size position of it at that point in time, I'm looking
Okay.
at it now like, man, I should have just held on to it and just, did my research and really took the time to understand this company and why it's falling like it is versus the whole market is falling off a cliff. Let me try to recoup my losses because I'm not gonna lie, I was new to the game at that time. I was naive. I didn't know what was going on. Didn't have the right proper mindset.
Okay. Okay. Um, I do want to, before I forget, and while Brown is still here, can you give a quick range on what you think you need in order to get started with trading portfolio, option trading portfolio specifically?
I would say a minimum of about $1,500.
Okay.
Minimum. And that's like really pushing it. Yeah, a minimum at a minimum. Anything below that because you're not gonna have any room for error and your emotions are gonna be into to each individual trade that you get into.
Hmm. Nope, Nora, don't mind you mentioning Chris. Nora says she followed one of Chris's plays on an option trade and she did well on Friday.
Hmm.
Shout out to you, Nora. See, I'm here again, Prez. I told you we're supposed to make the show more fun. I'm supposed to use my buttons and stuff, but it's not
You
happening.
never do.
I know it's not happening today because I get so engrossed in the show, but you guys seem to be used to it already. But I mean, I hope I have been doing better because I got, made a few tendies. Okay. Okay. All right.
I haven't heard that one in a while. Tendies.
Okay. I don't think, and I think it's Scorpio Mama's first time here. Thanks for tuning in. I don't think I've ever seen you here before. Okay, so now we are on to the last point in our, our planned discussion of the day. Sometimes our discussion it just gets everywhere as we go on, and that is greed, fear of missing out. So, Prez, you want to start off here?
Greed, yes, greed. I am formerly guilty of greed. Um, and that it ties into a lot of these points that we went over today. Like you can't be greedy at the end of the day, especially when it pertains to trading, more so versus investing. Like you have to take profit. Don't be afraid to take profit versus you hope it can go up even higher than where it already is. If you see some green and it was more than what you came with, don't be afraid to take profit. Never get greedy. And that goes into raising your stop loss higher in profit, higher than where you bought in at. That way, it's never going to be a losing trade at that point because you've already set your sell order higher than where you bought in at. So
Mhm.
you really can't be greedy because you can end up watching your profit turn into a loss just like that, being greedy.
Okay, can you touch on this? Have you ever been in this situation where you are in an options trade and you set your stop loss, but then you want to give it a little bit more flexibility and open it up further than your initial stop loss that you set?
You said, have I ever done it?
Yes,
Yes, I have done it. I have
you
done
have
it.
done
I
it.
don't recommend doing that at all. If you already determined the price that how much you were willing to lose before you entered into that trade, keep it that way. Don't, no, I wouldn't recommend doing that at all because then you'll form a habit of doing that and you'll do it more and more versus just that one. I can just do it just one time, and
Okay,
then you're
so
already
the
pre.
times that you, I'm sorry,
When I set my stop loss, that's what it's set for. Like
you don't do it anymore, but you have done it in the
I
past.
have done it in the past, but I learned quick, like because I started seeing a habit form, like, oh well, let me try to do it this time, and You end up taking on more losses than what you really should be taking. Although you are gonna lose sometimes, but if you keep your losses minimum and you stick to your trading rules, you set these rules out. They rules for a reason. Don't break them because that's how you're gonna end up losing more than what you're willing to lose.
Okay. I could see the seriousness in your eyes as you're talking about this. Like I've rung a different twist to the greed with that
Yeah,
question.
because that falls into greed because now you're hoping, you're wishing, and you're hoping on something that just may not happen. The odds already are stacked against you. 97% of traders are not profitable. That's you can Google that. It may be more than that. So with that being said, you already know the odds are stacked against you as it is. So you got to be smart and take profit and know what you're willing to lose. Risk management at the end of the day, have the proper mindset because if you don't, you will get smoked and you're going to be upset about it and you really don't have nobody to blame but yourself. Some people will try to blame content creators. Well, I listened to you and I lost money. Nobody put a gun to your head and said, buy this or sell this at the end of the day. So you got to be smart enough to know how to navigate this space before you even get involved.
Yes, yes. And our viewers are of a certain age. They're out here talking about the Sizzler and the Ponderosa. Are you seeing this over here, Press?
Wow. I haven't heard a Sizzler in years. Ooh.
That's what Nora says she did with her little winnings that she went to the Sizzler.
I could have sworn they went out of business years ago.
I think that's the joke. that um but yes, we gotta focus on our goals and avoid getting swept away by the hype. And we have to be patient. We have to be patient. And I think that's another thing that us showing um portfolios and investments that even I usually show things that are at least 5 years, 4 or 5 years old, um, just to show people, my average price is not going to be your average price, but in time, you have to give these things time to grow, and then you can have, be up 40% on multiple investments in your portfolio. And definitely did not happen overnight. Yes, exactly.
Oh yeah, you saw that. I saw that too.
Yes.
Are your viewers of a certain age? Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Press announces his age like every day, every week. But yeah, I'm not talking about my age over here. And if y'all talk about it, we won't hear from you again either. Right, Press?
Right. I don't even think I know your age. I don't even know it.
All
You never
right.
never told me.
Nope, and I won't be.
Never told me.
But I know y'all can tell. Um, y'all can use your judgment, but don't talk about it. It's a secret. All right. So a little bit more. Let's just wrap it all up. So that was our list of 8 ways. I don't know when everybody came in, but we've been going over 8 ways that people potentially can lose money on the stock market, and just sharing a little bit about our mistakes, our journey, and our improvements to the way that we trade, that we invest, that we have our money mindset nowadays. So it takes time, it takes patience, and it takes a lot of learning. But hopefully, like I said, by us sharing our story, you don't necessarily have to. By us sharing our story, hopefully some of the steps and some of the stages that we went through, you don't have to go through, that you can
Right.
say, hey, let me use a stop loss. Let me be more mindful. Let me evaluate this. Let me not just jump in. Let me make a plan, all the things that we've been talking about today. So, um, yeah, no secret, Tim. I just don't like talking about it. I think I got that from my grandmas,
I don't
especially.
mind talking about it because I was always told I wouldn't live to see a certain age, and I've
Mm,
doubled that and then some. I've doubled that age that they said I wouldn't live to see. So I embrace saying how old I am. I don't mind. I will be, and for those who don't know, I will be 46 on the 16th of this month.
Yes, yes, yes. We'll be celebrating Prez Virgo season. Towards the end of Virgo season, we will be celebrating you, Prez. All right. So KG is in the house. Yes, it's Trudy's day today, guys. Trudy was the winner of KG's last challenge that he did, and it is Trudy's day. Thanks for checking in, KG. Appreciate you.
He about to pull that water gun out on us.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he got it cocked back. I saw it in the chat. Like, yeah, Trudy.
Yes, Trudy. And happy early birthday, Prez. Yeah, not yet. It's
Thank you
Virgo
so much.
season. It's Virgo season, but it's not your day yet, Prez. It's coming. It's coming.
And this whole month my day.
I know. I know. I know. Oh, so I was about to, I was about to, before I jumped past, I had his, anyways. What is the best way to learn options?
Hmm. Paper
Hmm.
trade. Paper trade.
Okay. Another consideration, maybe, one where I learned was by joining Keen and Grace's Discord and taking the classes and being a part of that community. So, I mean, I'm not going to beat around the bush on it. That is where I learned a lot. And I do have a video on that, Kendrick, if you want to take a look at that. I have two videos on it, just kind of a Discord review and just letting you know what you can expect over there. So Rel is still with us. He getting fresh for the weekend. But Prez, anything else that you want to share on just on these points? Do you think that we we conveyed all of the points and got through the message that you wanted to share through this live stream today?
Yes, I believe that we've we touched on all of the points, and I feel like my message was well heard, was received on good ears and things of that nature. So I'm happy with that.
Okay. So, anything that you think we might have missed? Anything in the upcoming week that we want to touch on before we close out for the day? I didn't even look at the I'm a little scatterbrains again this weekend. I didn't even look at like any upcoming earnings, but I'm telling you, like last week, it's like the Nvidia and Intel and all of that. Anything else important or notable coming up that you know of off the top of your head?
No, but in closing, I just want to say this: regardless of what naysayers may say or things of that nature, no matter whatever amount you're able to afford to invest consistently, do that. I mean, try to increase it as time progresses throughout your investing journey. But if all you're able to afford is $5 a day, don't let anybody discourage you and say that's not going to cut it or things of that nature. The key here is to just get started at the end of the day. And not only that, but to stay consistent. And that was just on my heart to say, and I'm glad I was able to get that off my chest.
Okay, well, listen, this is our show, so Eddie, don't ever feel like we always gonna
No,
make time. We always gonna make time for what's weighing on your heart to share, Press. Um, I want to shout out to Tim. Tim be really doing his thing and sharing his options trades and stuff on Instagram. Um, and good and like just like we try to like I like to see the good and the bad,
hmm
but he's really been stepping it up and seems like he's working to scale up uh those options trades. So and he has an eye on Nvidia to fall next week. I don't know. I
it's
don't know.
possible.
We got an extra day to think and ponder on what direction things are going to go. So, President, do you think that there'll be anywhere you'll share like the actual screenshots more of, um, even if it's after? I mean, not in the moment, but the results of your daily options trading.
I've been considering it. I've been thinking about it. I haven't really decided just yet. Simply because it's like I got family. I don't want to know that exactly what I do and things of that nature.
Okay.
And because if only a trader can understand another trader. You understand what I'm saying? Like people on the outside looking in, they won't understand things of that nature. And I've even had family members come to me and say, if I give you this amount of money, would you be able to flip this and things of that nature? And I
Mhm.
just don't want that hassle because the last thing I want is somebody in my ear like, did you make any money today? Or I got to tell them that I took a loss or something like that. So I don't have to answer to anybody trading with my own funds. So I like to keep it that way.
Okay, okay. If you ever want to talk trading, you can always talk to me. Calls on CrowdStrike. I don't know. I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
As for me, probably not. But
Tim says
I
don't
would
do
have to
it.
really take a look at the chart if it makes sense. You already know I don't really like trading individual stocks like that. They're
Hmm.
easier to manipulate by Wall Street, so I do a lot better at trading ETFs, options on ETFs.
Yes, the spy number one choice, QQQ number two.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Keep it simple. Keep it simple. I don't have to try to reinvent the wheel. If it's making me money, it's turning me a nice consistent profit, then I'm gonna stick with it.
So yeah, I guess it's disappeared already. But I did highlight a comment that we had gotten a while back from Neo, just saying that our channels are real, and what we're sharing is it's just slow and steady. Slow and steady
Hmm.
wins the race, and you just have to focus on um, the long term and not just be about this quick money, um, and just be consistent. Be consistent. So let's see. Warren Buffett, he invested his family's money in the beginning. Intel is clawing back up. Okay, okay. So yeah, like I said, we got an extra day to reflect and plan on what the plan is of attack on Tuesday.
Hmm.
So thank you everyone for tuning in.
Yeah.
We have a hard stop today because it's a special day. It's Trudy's day, so we have to get
Hmm.
going. But we will be back again next Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, Prez, you want to close us out? Is there anything else you want to share? Any reminders? Any closing remarks?
I just like to thank you all for tuning in. And if you came in late on this video, please feel free to watch the replay because I think we touched on a lot of important key points in this particular live stream. Don't If you're coming in watching the replay, hopefully that and you made it this far, thank you for sticking around to the end. Um, be sure to hit the like button on your way out if you haven't done so. I know it's easy for people to forget, but it really helps the algorithms push our content out to more viewers versus they getting a whole bunch of hype videos and bad information.
All right. Well, we will see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Okay, bye.